Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Margot. I am going into my sophomore year at Northeastern University, and these are my two lovely friends. This is Petra.
Hello.
And this is Hannah.
Hi.
And they are rising freshmen at Trinity and Bentley, so New England, yeah. And so they have some good questions that they are going to ask me about their college experience, and I'm hoping that this can help you guys as well too. So let's get this started.
First question. So I know we have RAs on our floor, which is like the residential assistants. Are they like someone you should try to be friends with, or are they more as like a role model? Like how do you like approach them?
Okay, in general, I would say be friends with your RA usually, or it really depends on how old they are. My RA actually was not on my floor. He was on the floor below me. Northeastern's a little bit different. And he was a grad student, so he's a lot older. So he was more inclined, it's kind of like bad advice, but like good advice for like certain things. He is definitely more inclined to like report you. He was very chill, but it's not like you would get to know him. But also Northeastern isn't a party school. In that sense, I would say just be friends with him just to get to know him, just so that you know who your RA is on the floor if you have an issue and things like that. But party-wise, I would say the younger RAs are more inclined to just like probably like let you slide and things like that versus like the older RAs, you know. But be friends with your RA either way because you're gonna need them at one point.
Yeah. Right. So my question has to do with food. I know with COVID, you probably couldn't like actually eat at places. I don't know, like at Trinity you couldn't. You had to. It was all takeout. But like normally for like breakfast, do you eat with your friends? Lunch, dinner, like what's the whole deal with like all that?
Okay, for breakfast, so I lived in one of the dining hall buildings, and we could actually sit at our dining hall, but even though for breakfast, if I had somewhere to be, a lot of students like kind of sit alone and eat too. Like if you have things to do and you don't want to like meet someone up for, you just want to get your own stuff done, like you can totally eat by yourself. Like it's not really, it's like not like in high school, I know they're like, oh my god, you're eating alone. Should I go sit next to that person? But no, in college it's totally normal because everyone has their own lives, like things to do. But a lot of times you can just like meet someone for quick breakfast. Breakfast is a lot harder because you're usually going somewhere right after. But like lunch, you can be like, oh, you want to like meet up for lunch? It's pretty easy, you know. So
I know in college it's all about like prioritizing your time, and you have a lot more free time. So like, what would a typical weekend look like for you?
Typical weekend. All right, it really depends. For me, I would say I usually try to prioritize my work. I plan my workout depending on my weekend plans, and in Boston there's a lot to do and a lot to see, so it really just depends on what you're doing. If you're going out at night during the day, and I usually try to just get everything done as quickly and efficiently and correct as I can. Yeah.
Right. I know all colleges are different, but as a freshman, what kind of like dorm situation would you recommend? Like a single, double? I don't know if they're triples.
There's triples in a lot of different dorms. Not necessarily. They're at Northeastern. At Northeastern is a little different, and I'll get into that after. But for general college, I definitely think you should start out with a roommate, so that you can get to know someone and you get to see if you like living with someone. Like because if you're already isolating yourself, you're not really gonna be open to the experience later on. So I think you should just off the bat get a roommate. And most colleges actually like make you your first, like you have to have a roommate anyways, unless you really are adamant about requesting a single. As Northeastern, you can be in the regular dorms, or you can be in a dorm like mine where it's more of you have your own bathroom and things like that. So like it really just depends, because you could be in a single bathroom at Northeastern, so like you don't have you have a roommate to share the bathroom with, but you don't have a roommate like sleeping with you, which is kind of nice. I guess it's like perks of living in the city is there's a little bit more options and opportunity, because like you get into an apartment earlier, things like that. But at most colleges it's like dorms, you know, so, and communal bathrooms, which sucks, which they have at Northeastern too, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I would definitely suggest living with a roommate at first.
So like adding on to that with having a roommate, it's kind of like privacy. You kind of, I feel like, lose that in college because you're sharing a bathroom, you're sharing a room, you kind of no longer have like time and space to yourself. Do you always feel like you kind of just lost like that aspect of being kind of alone? Because I'm just worried that like, you know, sometimes it's nice that you want to be alone, away from people, secluded, but you won't have that opportunity anymore because your just life is like around people all the time.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I think there's a lot of times where you're out in the out of the room and your roommate's out of the room, and that is kind of like good alone time. And it's good to communicate with your roommate as well. If you're needing some time by yourself, definitely communicate with that to your roommate. And most, if they're a good roommate and are nice, will be like, oh, I'll stay out of the room for an hour or something, just give you some space, you know. But at college, it's like, I feel like if you need your own time, you kind of just sit in your bed and do your own thing, you know. Like, you're not like me and my roommate, Haley, if you're watching. There'd be times where like she's on her AirPods. I'll like speak to her and I'm calling you out, and she like won't answer, and it's honestly really funny. But like maybe she just is in the mood, you know. And so like we'll just like not speak in the room. Like it's totally normal. But a lot of times we have like good times together where you're just like it's like comforting. Like my roommate and I are like living together. Again, in an apartment with another girl. Hi, Heather. I don't know if you're watching this. But Haley and I are still in the same room together because we like the comfort of like someone else there. But you can also be quiet at the same time, you know? So I don't think it's that bad.
Oh, I mean, you've had one full year of college. What are the college boys?
I can't speak for anything but unfortunately Northeastern. And if you are looking to find your soulmate, it may happen in college, but for me, I don't think it's gonna happen. There's a lot of cute boys at Northeastern, but I think a lot of them are either maybe I'm intimidating, I don't know, but no one's pursued me. Let's just go with that. There's a lot of cute guys. There's also some mediocre ones. I don't know how to answer this. There's cute guys. Honestly, it's up to your own preference. Northeastern is more girls than guys. Just be aware of that. And it really just depends. But for me, I haven't really found anything exciting. But that's just me. I'm sure you guys will do better.
Okay, so when it comes to packing, I know that you obviously went to a school that wasn't so far away from your house, so it's nice to have like that distance there so you're not too far if you ever need something. But is it better to overpack and make sure you have like a variety of like outfits and clothes and like just like supplies for your dorm versus underpack and where you have nothing? Or is it better to go in with less and then always go shopping for more?
That's a good question. If you are going to be living in Boston, I definitely think underpacking is a better idea because you're very inclined to spend money. If you're really strong in not spending money and like really adamant about it, definitely bring more stuff. I brought a decent amount of stuff, but I also live close, so I was gonna go home. I kind of figured that I'd trade some things out, and but if you're living far away, it might be good to bring a little bit more stuff, and that might also deter you from buying more stuff because you know it won't fit if you buy too much stuff. So I guess I'm me like getting on both sides. I think it's all up to how far you are from your college and how much money you really want to spend at college, because in Boston you can spend a lot of money and I don't suggest it. That is my personal opinion. But definitely plan for what you need, you know, but don't go too overboard. Like, just like if you only need one jacket, like one winter coat, only bring one winter coat. Like, I know you want to be stylish and stuff, but college ain't about that all the time.
So, on the same like page as packing and all of that, if you had to pick only 3 like things that were essential for you, like,
ooh, that's a good question.
What would you like recommend to everyone?
Like clothing wise?
Anything in your dorm, anything that you maybe didn't realize was as important as it was, but just 3 things that you...
That's a good one.
Yeah. I just thought of it right now.
My phone is everywhere. Me just about to say my laptop, my iPad, my phone. So the 3 things you need for school, honestly. A mini wallet to put in your backpack is one, I'd say. That can hold your card and your wallet, and like, because especially if you're in Boston or in any city, I feel like it's easy for you to like want to be like, oh, I want a coffee, you know. Mm-hmm. You need a lot of electronics, I feel like, for school. Like an iPad, I said in my last video, is very, very important. If you want to hear why, go check out that dorm video. Actually, it'll probably be over here. I get confused. So I'm going to leave electronics out of this question because you kind of need them for college now. So a wallet is definitely one. Wire cables.
Good one.
Like extra, like longer ones. And those, and 3-wheeled carts to put your stuff in. You can put snacks, you can put, like I said, go check out the dorm video. I explain everything about that there. But I think dorm-wise and just, like, at college, like, it's good to have. And obviously clothing, but, like, it's hard because it really depends on where you're, like, what kind of climate you're in.
Okay, sweet. So I know something that's been on my mind is the Freshman 15. So, I mean, does it depend on how good the food is at the school, or is it just like a big temptation overall because kids have this freedom with like an unlimited swipe on their card? Like, I don't know, how do you think that affected
So, Freshman 15, from my understanding, is more about drinking.
Yeah.
But it also does depend on the food. At least at Northeastern, I don't think the food is good enough to like do that. But I'm also a picky eater, so don't take that from me. Don't take that from me. I did not gain the Freshman 15. I don't drink really, but I'm sure if you're a heavy drinker and if you like to do that, I'm sure like it's pretty easy, especially during COVID. If you're drinking by yourself in your room, I don't know what to say about that, but that could be something you did. But at least this year, I don't think it was much of an issue because there wasn't really many things to go out and do, you know. I wouldn't be worried about it. I feel like it's really over exaggerated.
Yeah.
I think if you're just conscious about like what you are doing and like things like that, and like plus like you really feel like crap after, like not like gaining the weight. I just meant like if you're eating like a really like a lot or like drinking a lot, like you just like I feel like you can notice it, you know.
Also, I feel like in college, a lot of people, like, when they first go in freshman year, they're not really working out. And I mean, you work out a lot, so you're fine. But a lot of people are just, like...
that's so true.
Yeah,
I guess I'll add on that. The gym at Northeastern was kind of intimidating. Not gonna lie. Like, the Marino Center gym is just, like, so many athletes. And if you're definitely self-conscious, I definitely suggest going with friends and things like that. I worked out in my room, actually. I had a big enough space to do that. But I wasn't working out every day. You're also walking a lot in Boston. So, like, I was already burning a decent amount of calories just walking around and like getting lunch and like things like that. I really just depends on the person, honestly. Everyone's bodies are different too, so.
All right, so I know the party scene at different colleges, like obviously people party on different days, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday usually is the normal. What is it like at Northeastern? Not a good question, maybe. I don't know, with COVID you can't really answer that, but
I'm gonna be honest, I did not go to any parties, but I know some of the frats and things like that were still having parties. I just was not going to go to anything like that during COVID because I'm not about to catch COVID and bring it to my family because I go visit them. This year is really hard for me to like speak on like the community of Northeastern. I can't really make a solid judgment. I would say there was definitely people that partied, but I think it was more like there's some that were like small gatherings. Like I would hang out like maybe with a little bit of friends and things like that. But I wouldn't. For me at least, I would say I was not exposed to like any big parties. I heard of some. I've seen other people kind of go. I think it's more like for me, like I would just rather like explore Boston on Friday, Saturday nights. You know, go out to eat or something like that, which probably more of a next semester thing. But at least I've heard Northeastern has some like parties with the frats and things like that, and I know they did have some, but I can't personally speak on them because I just wasn't there.
So, professors, I know it's different at every school. I kind of just want to know, were you able, I know Northeastern's a bigger school, were you able to like personally like connect with any of them, or was it just like, do you think that they like taught you well and you just had a good experience with them, or do you think like you had your fair share of good and bad?
I think all my professors were pretty good. I did connect with one of the Greek professors that I had, mainly because I'm also Greek, and I feel like he also was doing international affairs, and he might have research that I could potentially like join in on. I think it's all about if you like a professor enough to like really reach out and like things like that, and just have a conversation. They love to have just like conversations. I did that with my psychology professor. He was so sweet. We had such a good conversation about some stuff in psychology and just like normal day-to-day life. It's nice because they're just normal people. They like want to connect with you. But if you like the professor, just to even just like be friends with them, like totally just like go to office hours and things like that. But if you're also looking to, they're a really good professor and you like also their research and things like that, it's really, really good to meet the professors. But I had mostly a handful of good professors, I would say.
What would be like the best way to meet new people? Like other than classes? I feel like classes is probably the most.
Yeah, classes is definitely where you're going to meet the most people. For freshmen, I'd say your orientation. I unfortunately did not have an orientation. I only had an on an online one, so it's a lot harder for me to make friends. But I would say for you guys, orientation's gonna be a really big thing. Classes and also clubs is really good. You meet like like-minded people and things that you like.
So I know personally I don't have like really any intentions of joining a sorority, primarily because they're not big at my school. But if you're not in one, do you think it's like better to be friends with people who are to get into like parties and stuff? I know it wasn't big at Northeastern, but do you think that like influences like kind of the party situation at all?
I definitely think if you don't want to be in a sorority or a fraternity and you want to go to parties, definitely become friends with some people in sororities and fraternities. Usually in New England, I have found that sororities and frats are not like that big of a thing. But with COVID, I feel like, especially at Northeastern, a lot of girls and guys in my age joined, maybe because they like needed somewhere to like make friends and things like that. So I feel like the percentage kind of increased this year. But if you're looking to go to parties, I'd definitely suggest being friends with people in them. I personally am not in a sorority and I do not plan to be in one. But also like if you're down south, I feel like it's kind of like natural to be in a sorority. And that way, like, I feel like everyone just goes to those parties.
Yeah.
You know?
Last question.
Yes,
this
last
video.
question. Woo.
Okay, it's not juicy or anything, but so obviously as a freshman, it's gonna be like a new schedule. It's like very different from high school. So if you had to pick, would you recommend freshmen to take more morning classes or like late afternoon or evening classes?
Morning classes, 100%. 100%. However, my first semester of college, my first class started at 11, but I only had like maybe one, at most 2 classes a day, so I would end by latest like 3. So I didn't think that was bad. If you end by like 4:35, I feel like that's the best, especially in a city. In the winter, I personally as a girl don't want to be walking around by myself, which is why you find a buddy to go to class and things like that. But I think morning classes are easier because then you just get them done for the day, you're able to do your homework, then you can enjoy the rest of your night. So to me, that's what I suggest. That's what works best for me. I did like having my first class at 11 because I could sleep in, but I think now that I'm getting in higher stages of college, I feel like it's way easier to just be done because you're gonna have more work, you're gonna have more to like do, you want to get maybe a job as you go up, things like that. So just something to consider. For your first year, I don't think it's like super imperative to have just morning classes, or like I think it's very flexible, but I think as you go up it's easier to have morning classes. All right, that is it for the questions. I hope you guys found this useful. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, turn your post notifications on for all my future videos, as well as subscribe for more content. Also leave a comment down below with any questions that you might have and I'll be sure to answer them too. Have a great day, y'all. Peace out.